If I ever see that again, you two are done
sorry,
with your
it's
lives.
done.
I'm just ending it. You got a grip on yourself now. Man up and take some accountability and some responsibility. Garrison's been given an opportunity with a Navy Junior ROTC to travel to Hawaii with a group of his peers.
Kody seriously threatened his own kids. That's what happened in Season 8, Episode 6, when Gabe and Garrison had a little squabble after a movie outing. And what did Kody do? He went off on them full blast. I remember watching that episode and thinking, wow, this is a whole new level of over the top. Words matter, and for a parent to say something like that, yikes, parents should know better. If he's capable of blowing up like that when the cameras are rolling, I can only imagine what he's like off-screen. Honestly, the guy's a complete nutball. Oh wait, I think I meant asshole. My bad. Clearly, spelling isn't his strong suit. When the show wraps up though, I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to get the real dirt on Kody and the wives, and trust me, it won't be pretty. I'm betting that all the wives have been just as bad, just in their own special ways. No one's out here winning Parent of the Year, that's for sure. The longer the show drags on, the more they trip over their lies. Christine's definitely struggling with that. And Janelle? She should have straight up left Kody after that whole "I'll end your kids" threat. Seriously, there's no coming back from that. It wasn't about discipline, it was about his bruised ego, especially after being humiliated in front of those anthropological students. That moment really took a hit on whatever respect I had left for her as a mother. Ignoring that, unbelievable. Then, when Gabe gets caught in a lie about the whole ordeal, Kody's like, "Why did you lie? What were you so afraid of? I never spank you." Yeah, right, buddy. He's the kind of dad who talks a big game and looks intimidating when he's mad, but I have serious doubts he ever follows through. Kody's inconsistent in every way, and I highly doubt he's doing any real parenting. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Here we go, another round in the Kody Brown saga, with a nice, juicy twist. So when the Brown family was knee-deep in adopting Robyn's kids, one of Kody's most compelling arguments was that Robyn's ex didn't bother with child support or even try to see his kids. So of course, Kody swooped in to save the day and be their real dad, pretending the ex didn't exist at all. Classic Kody logic, right? It's like he thinks that if he says it enough, it becomes true. Now, let's connect some dots here. Christine, in my opinion, is playing the same game. She's laying the groundwork for David to adopt truly. And honestly, with Kody's own words used against him, it makes perfect sense. Kody hasn't exactly been a model dad when it comes to truly. He's barely been around, not financially supporting her or even making an effort to see her. So following Kody's flawless reasoning, the man who actually stepped up, David, should get the right to adopt her, right? I mean, if it worked for Robyn's kids, why not truly? Do I think Christine would drop her child support lawsuit if Kody agreed to let David adopt truly? I don't think so. I really don't see Christine being thrilled with the idea of David adopting truly. What I do think is happening here is that Christine wants Kody to actually contribute to Truly's life, something that hasn't really happened since they split. Kody's been less present than ever, and now this is the only way Christine can make him do something that remotely resembles being a responsible parent. Let's be real. Christine is doing exactly what any loving mother would do. She's making sure that Truly gets the support she's entitled to. Kody's obligation to his daughter is non-negotiable, and it's high time he was held accountable for that. Oh, and let's not forget about the college fund. Christine probably saw how much Kody was splurging on art, or whatever it was, and thought, hey, maybe Truly deserves to have a little cash saved up for her future too. Can't blame her for that one. But here's the kicker. I don't think this move is going to come from Truly herself. It's not like she's going to be the one demanding an adoption. But the financial side of this? Oh yeah, Christine's definitely thinking about that. Kody needs to pay up. If anything, this is a calculated move to ensure Kody is on the hook, especially since his income's going to drop once the show wraps. Even if he tries to lower the amount later, he's still going to owe back support based on his current income. So Kody thought Christine should just hand over the money from her house, and he wouldn't have to take care of his daughter. The man really thinks the world revolves around him. He's such a massive man-baby. In the end, Christine is using Kody's own strategy against him. If he wants to adopt Robyn's kids, he has no choice but to step up for his own daughter. The clock's ticking, Kody. I completely lost it when Robyn announced her second pregnancy. Seriously, I had to go back and watch old episodes because there's this whole saga where she's whining about how the older kids weren't enthusiastic enough about her first pregnancy. I mean, sure, they were dealing with their entire lives being flipped upside down in a matter of months. But okay, Robyn. You do you. Then, when she announces the second pregnancy, she tells her actual kids first, and Dal Tion G eats UP said eat. But here's the kicker. She completely ignores that little detail and doesn't even bother to address it. I want to be clear, I think it's totally fine for Dalton to be upset. Change is hard for anyone, especially kids, and they shouldn't be expected to fake happiness just to make the adults feel better. But it sure does throw a wrench in her whole narrative that the older kids were just being shitty to her during the first pregnancy. Funny thing though, when she told the OG-13 about the second pregnancy, no one had a negative reaction. So where's the drama there, Robyn? Oh right, it doesn't fit your storyline. What really gets under my skin is how utterly bereft of empathy she is toward the other wise kids. It's like they don't even matter. And this wasn't the only time Dayton looked upset. Robyn just ignores his feelings, like they don't even exist. I'll never forget the episode where she tells her kids their biological father signed over his rights. The kids cheer and Dayton looks completely hurt and confused. My heart just breaks for him. Especially since Dayton is neurodivergent, as Robyn casually mentions in her talking head after the second pregnancy announcement. We met him back in season 1, and it's clear he probably didn't fully understand what that meant. Why not sit down with him privately and let him process it? Instead, she just brushes it off. It's not just a lack of empathy for the otherwise kids, she can't even show empathy for her own. And you're absolutely right. Dayton's reaction was just like a lot of the other brown kids' reactions when Robyn first announced her pregnancy. He was clearly processing the news, not excited, not angry, just trying to understand. What rubbed me the wrong way was Robyn using his neurodivergence to explain his reaction, as if it somehow justified her version of events. She just couldn't leave it at that. It was even worse than that. She actively used his autism to make her own narrative fit. People are watching that clip and acting like his response was totally different because he's autistic, but why can't we just admit that any kid might look nonplussed and slightly irritated when they're hit with life-changing news in front of a bunch of people and expected to have a specific emotional reaction? It's fine. He's allowed to process it however he needs to. And it doesn't need to be a whole spectacle, but Robyn doesn't seem to get that. The random insomnia thought, why do Christine's kids and Janelle's kids turn out so different? I've been thinking about this for no good reason, but it hit me. Christine's kids are all over the place giving interviews and collecting patrons, while Janelle's kids are, well, more private. It's like they took two completely different parenting styles and ran with them. The thing is, Christine was the only parent to her kids. That's it. She did all the heavy lifting. Meanwhile, Janelle's kids had both parents, Christine stepping in as the de facto extra mom, and Janelle being the serious, less involved one. It's not hard to see the difference when you break it down. Christine's kids grew up in a single-parent household, even though there was technically a second parent hanging around. while Janelle's kids had 2. And then there's the little matter of personalities. Christine is fun and quirky, like the cool mom you can joke with, while Janelle is all about the serious, no-nonsense approach. So yeah, it makes sense the kids turned out completely different. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree after all. Take Gwen, Christine's daughter, for example. She once shared that Kody played favorites with the sons, Janelle's sons, and practically ignored the daughters because he thought he'd never be able to connect with them. Apparently, neglect was a gendered issue in Kody's world. Gwen mentioned they have mixed feelings about Janelle's sons, now speaking out about being neglected by Kody recently, because, surprise, that's the exact same thing Gwen dealt with her whole childhood. Kody is like a vending machine with a broken coin slot. You get what he gives you, but it's totally random and based on who he's in the mood to connect with that day. Once the kids are old enough to think for themselves and form opinions, Kody distances himself, which is why he's practically glued to Robyn and her kids. They're his real family, apparently. Now, when it comes to parenting styles, Christine definitely wore the fun best friend hat, while Janelle played this serious I need to raise you right role. They both ended up making their older kids the de facto parents of the younger ones. But hey, at least Christine tried to be the cool one. Neither of them prioritized the kids over their relationship with Kody, but at least Christine seemed to care about being the fun parent while doing it. Kody's selective parenting style is absolutely fascinating. Watching him kick Gabe and Garrison out just because they turned 18, all while casually tossing out a bye-bye, made me wonder what's really going on in his head. Then, in the same breath, he's going on about how Ariella needs him until she's 21. It's hard to miss the glaring contradictions here. Aurora, 20, still living at home, and Gwen, who's around the same age, seems to have a decent relationship with him, so why the sudden cutoff with the boys? Is it possible that Kody sees the girls needing him longer because, in his mind, they're more likely to marry young, and that means he gets to play the role of the doting father? You know, walking her down the aisle, giving a speech, taking the spotlight during the first dance. Maybe he likes being the center of attention? Or am I completely off base here with that theory? If we rewind to earlier seasons, Kody was practically begging Logan to stay home. So much for the 18 and you're out policy. He made room for Logan at Janelle's house while he was in college, and Garrison and Hunter stuck around well past 18. It seems like Kody wasn't all that keen on kicking his kids out, at least not when they were offering him something. He might have felt a bit differently when Gabe and Garrison weren't quite meeting his expectations, though, hence the follow my house rules or get out routine. And honestly, we all know Kody's mental gymnastics around the whole thing is a bit of a tangled mess. Here's an interesting twist, though. Christine, the one who's been very vocal about kids needing to leave the nest at 18, might actually have a point. Not that I agree with her approach, but it's funny how Kody's logic shifts when it comes to his sons versus his daughters. Maybe it's not entirely cultural, but more about his ego. As the alpha male, he can't quite handle the idea that his sons are growing into independent people with their own thoughts, opinions, and accomplishments. He can't be the top dog anymore. That loyalty thing he keeps throwing around. It's all about maintaining control, and he feels uncomfortable when his boys don't bow down to him like they used to. Classic case of I'm the leader and you're supposed to follow, right? So, why was the adoption such a big deal for Kody? Here I am, recovering from surgery and rewatching this mess, and I'm at the part where they're heading to the courthouse to finalize the adoption. I still can't wrap my head around why adopting Preston's kids away from him was so critical. I mean, the guy wasn't even trying for custody, wasn't paying child support, and legally had zero chance, even if he did want custody. And let's not forget, there's no mention of the kids being abused, so what was the point? These kids were already part of the family. They could have been included in a will for inheritance. And if spiritual matters are your thing, they could have been resealed to Kody for eternity, with or without Preston's permission. So really, what did they gain by going through the hassle of an adoption? Aside from Robyn getting the chance to flip her ex the biggest middle finger possible. Honestly, I think this whole thing was about Robyn getting that coveted legal wife status. The adoption was just a convenient excuse to create a juicy storyline for the show. Oh, and let's not forget, having more kids in polygamy is like a trophy. According to Robyn's reasoning on the show, her big worry was that if something happened to her, the kids would go to their dad and the Browns would lose them. Dramatic much. But let's be real, Robyn and Kody basically bulldozed the dad's rights. Parental alienation? Definitely. And the proof is in the pudding. Once the adoption went through, the kids suddenly got to see their dad again. How convenient. So what did Robyn really gain? Well, for one, she didn't have to share her kids with their dad anymore. She got to keep them on the show, parading them around for whatever storyline they could cook up. And she had Kody swooping in as her white knight, all ready to save the day. Sure, this all sounds great now, but trust me, it's going to come back to bite them. Messing with the kids' relationship with their dad, that never ends well. If he was truly that terrible of a person, the kids would have figured it out on their own without Robyn interfering. So we're still pretending Robyn's kids were the victims here, huh? Let's break this down. Robyn claimed, somewhere around that glorious gift exchange disaster, that her kids were treated terribly from the start, that they were basically the family pariahs and needed constant support from the other moms. She even said they never felt welcome. Sounds heartbreaking, right? But then you watch the actual footage, and it looks like the kids were practically adopted into the Brady Bunch, with open arms and smiles everywhere. It's almost like the other kids were thrilled about the adoption and had no problem blending together. Was that just a well-crafted performance for the cameras? I mean, sure, Janelle and Meri have recently mentioned the slight difficulties in blending the family, and yeah, that's pretty much what you'd expect when a bunch of hormonal teens are forced to uproot their lives and suddenly treat each other like family. Not to mention, Peyton has openly admitted to bullying Dayton and the girls, while Gwen and Garrison seem to have had their own welcome to the family moments with some rough edges. So was there some tension? Absolutely. But let's be real, this wasn't the picture-perfect, seamless blend of love and unity they tried to sell us. Robyn's kids, let's not forget, were never fully part of the original household. They were never living there full-time. So maybe the warm, fuzzy family bond we saw on screen was a little bit more about playing up that fantasy of the happy, harmonious polygamous dream than the reality of a family figuring out how to coexist. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.